All right, guys, welcome back to the Idaho 2A News. I'm Bob, and today I have another guest with me. And this is very cool because this guy may just be the very next governor of the great state of Idaho, Mark Fitzpatrick.
Glad to be here. Let's
How you
hope.
doing?
Let's hope so.
Yeah,
For everybody's
for
sake,
everybody's
really, right?
sake. Oh yeah, yeah.
For Idaho and liberty!
Just we'll dive right in. Number one, you're an ex-cop in California too, aren't you?
Yeah, I worked 12 years full time from, let's see, that'd be 99 to 11. And then 3 years I stayed on as a reserve for 3 more years after that until 14. So a total of 15 years.
Okay, nice. What's your background in firearms other than being a cop? Are you an avid shooter, hunter? What do you do?
Just the basic training. I'm definitely not like a gun nut, I guess you would say. I don't have the mass collection or anything like that. I have the same firearm model in many different places. It's just because it's just reliability. I know what it is. I know where it's going to be in the different places, and that I can access it. Same magazine. So it's about just functionality for me.
What's your gun of choice?
It's the one that I was trained on, which would be the Glock 40 caliber. So
Okay.
any variation of the Glock 40 caliber is what.
I don't believe that that Governor Little has put one of these in ever. And he's been governor for years and he's gone through many elections. So I think he just thinks he doesn't have to worry about little piddly people like us. It looks like you are pretty much on this 100% track here. What's your stance? Why don't you just tell everybody your stance on the Second Amendment and gun control and everything that Idaho's been doing?
Yeah, so I stand very strongly with the Second Amendment. The key words there, shall not be infringed. I think it's pretty clear. And we need to, I mean, that's a right that every American has, and Constitution's there to protect that right. And it's what we need to do as a state as well. And you have other states failing, critically failing in that. And Idaho needs to be a state that stands out as a leader among the states and show what a true Second Amendment state is. And that's the obvious ability for everybody to have the right to bear arms.
Couldn't get any more clear than that.
Pretty simple.
All right. So you're running against Brad Little, the current governor, who's been in office for what, 10 or more years now?
As governor, he's going up for his third term. He's over 7 years, about 7.5 years into being governor.
Okay.
So then he was held some different positions in the legislature before that.
Okay. And why are you a better candidate than Brad Little?
Well, to be very clear about it, Brad is a liberal who calls himself a Republican, and that is evident by his actions. He's the best case scenario that a liberal media and a liberal controlled and manipulated government, he's the best case scenario for governor that they could have in a state like Idaho. He does the bare minimum to essentially call himself a Republican, and for people to think, oh yeah, see, he's doing some things that are Republican. He's a Republican. But the reality is that he's shown us through his actions that he's not. Ever from the beginning times of him getting into the legislature and the Senate, when he voted against the definition of marriage between a man and a woman, he voted against that. It later passed, and that is part of our state constitution. That definition is part of our state constitution, even though the Supreme Court decision kind of overrules that for now. But fast forward until he becomes governor, and then ever since he gets in the governor's office, he's demonstrated very liberal tendencies. We go into COVID, he takes away freedoms, locks down businesses, declares an emergency, gives himself emergency powers, extends those powers for 900 days, not giving the option for the people to have say in what's going on for these years that are going by as he's making all of these decisions, bringing in massive amounts of money, and using that money to essentially create programs, which is not a Republican thing to do, increasing the size of the government massively, increasing our budget by between 60 and 80%, depending on who you ask, and setting up this agenda of us going in this trajectory where we have bigger government, more and more programs. At the same time, he signs letters, sends them to the feds that says that we are eager and equipped. Those are the exact words of Executive Order 13888, that we are eager and equipped to receive refugees, more refugees into Idaho. And then evident by his acts of omission as far as protecting our state from the invasion that's happening from illegals coming into Idaho. He has no desire to stop that from happening, as demonstrated by his acts of omission. He certainly doesn't stand up and lead the charge in any conservative way whatsoever. He's merely waiting for bills that make it to his desk, some of which he actually behind the scenes, I'm hearing, works to not have them make it to his desk. But he takes the bill, and he knows that if he doesn't sign it, he's going to have to stand before the Idaho people and explain why. So oftentimes he signs it by the time it gets to his desk, but he's doing the bare minimum where people would say, see, that's a Republican. We're doing Republican things. But the reality is that the work was done by Republicans who are either the people or the people in the legislature and Senate.
Sounds kind of like he's just hiding behind the desk.
True. Yeah, that's true. And so that's why I've been given the example lately of Idaho being like a red sports car. I don't know if you saw that. But essentially, everyone's around this beautiful sports car. It's so red. It's the shiniest red. It's the reddest of red. We're so proud of our red sports car. Somebody says, pop the hood. They look inside and there's a dirty blue engine in there. That's Idaho. And you have a media and you have an executive branch and a judicial branch that want to keep that hood down so nobody sees that it's actually a very blue, liberal engine that's driving this vehicle, this red vehicle. And they just give us enough information, the media does, they give us enough information for people to say, look, see, our sports car is so red and beautiful, and we're so proud of how red it is.
You win. You get elected in November against whoever the Democrat challenger will be. What does the first 60 days in office look like under a Fitzpatrick administration?
There's going to be a lot of things happening all at once, so that could take me a while to explain, but I will explain it. So there'll be a lot of shock and awe happening. We'll come in and we're going to start actually delivering truth to the people. When you deliver truth, instead of operating in secrecy, like's currently happening, when you deliver truth to the people, those people are empowered. Okay, so now we're going to empower the people with truth, bring them into the government in a populist style, bring them into the government to be good stewards of the government that they've been given and to get involved. I am going to work on completely cleaning out all the agencies, all the corruption, all the lies, all the fraud, some of which I've discovered on my own as I've gone and filmed places that have Somali daycares and Republic of Congo daycares that have been given hundreds of thousands of our dollars to have a daycare that doesn't even exist in some instances, or in other instances, they are given money for 12 kids and there's only one, which is theirs. So they're being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to babysit their own child. This is the type of fraud that's happening in Idaho. But we're going to stop that from happening. The way we're going to do that is a very much a Doge style situation. We're going to come in and we're going to remind everybody, or just tell them for the first time if they haven't heard it. When you work for the state of Idaho, you have to tell the truth, and you have to have a level of ethics, and there's no secrecy and there's no deception allowed, and they will sign something and agree to that. And then we will send a questionnaire out to everybody who works in all the agencies, and we will say, please define your role and your job and what value you bring to the Idaho people. Next question is going to be, have you witnessed any evidence of waste or inefficiencies in your department? Next question, have you ever witnessed or participated in any fraudulent activity in your department? Keep going that way with the questions. Keeping in mind, if they lie and they're caught lying, they will have no more job. And so we'll do that. And I have a feeling that people who have been doing nefarious deeds will flee. Because when you come and you shine the light and truth and expect truth, people who live in a world of deception, they don't want to live in the world of truth, so they will leave. That will help us trim down all the agencies and departments, and we'll be left with people who are more likely to be people who want to stand in truth and righteousness and ethics and do the right thing. From there, we'll start auditing. We're going to audit where all the money's been going, cut off money that's going to places it shouldn't be going, useless places, wasteful places, fraudulent places, to illegals, etc. We're going to cut off, money, health and welfare that's being wasted, in my opinion, by hundreds of millions of dollars. And to basically make the government so it's much smaller and more efficient. And those are going to be some of the moves we do right away. We're going to set up a way to decentralize the media, meaning skip mainstream media, go straight to alternative media sources, independent sources around the state.
Nice.
I'm going to set up a schedule for the whole year where I will go around to different locations in the state, stand before the people, inviting the people to come in to whether it's the Lincoln Auditorium here at our Capitol in Boise, or another location around the state. I will show up, stand before them. They come in, we broadcast it live, and they can ask any unscripted questions they want of the governor, willfully putting myself in a position of total transparency and demonstrating to the rest of the government the way our government's going to operate in transparency. At the same time, I have plans to go after and, I'll just say encourage the judicial branch to also be on the up and up and totally transparent, and encourage also the legislature to be the legislative branch to operate in the same fashion.